Right before we jump into this video, if you haven't signed up for the Fronos Photo email list, just look for this orange box over on the website, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I will send you a free guide to capturing motion in low-light situations. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com, and recently there's been a couple of videos that came out talking about the Nikon D850 versus the Nikon D5 when it comes to autofocus tracking using 3D tracking. Now I have a D850 right here and I've used it in real-world situations, including the one I'm going to show you in just a second, where I shoot motocross with bikers coming straight at me and bikers going straight across to test out the camera. Now we all know that one of the hardest situations for a camera to track in focus and continuous autofocus is where the subject is coming straight at you. Cameras tend to have trouble keeping up with something along those lines. Now I'm not personally a big fan of using 3D tracking, and I'm going to tell you about that right here. So why don't I use 3D tracking? Now let me backtrack one quick second. I did use it for some images here when I shot, but I'm not a big fan of it because it doesn't pick the right area all the time. For example, if it was going to be on 3D tracking, it may focus on the closest thing to the camera, which may be this wheel right here. Or if I was shooting a hockey player, which I've done in the past with 3D tracking, it would focus in on, say, the foot or the stick or the knee and not where I wanted it up top. So generally speaking, I shoot in the dynamic area autofocus modes like 9, 25, 72, and 153. I don't go up to 72 and I don't do the 53. I generally stay at dynamic area 25 and put the focus where I want it to be. And then what happens is as a subject moves across the frame, the focus continues to shift and autofocus and track continuously, much better than the 3D tracking. So let's show you this right now. Let me show you a bunch of sequences. We'll zoom in one to one. This one, right off the bat, it has him locked coming in. The second shot seems to have missed. Third shot, we nailed it. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh shot, you can see that it hit hit 6 of 7 there as the subject was coming towards me. Not the easiest situation to get into. Now the next sequence, same thing. I've got him coming back towards me. Let's see how it does using dynamic area AF, and it's nailing it. Boom, 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 and boom. So I believe that it's nailed all of those. See, this is why I use the dynamic area 25 AF or the 9 AF when I'm doing continuous focus. But let me tell you where I would use the 3D tracking and where I've used it in the past. I've used it when it came to shooting air shows because it's shooting an airplane where, generally speaking, I just need part of the airplane in focus because it's all going to look in focus from the distance that I'm shooting. But for everyday shooting, like portraits, I don't want to use 3D continuous focus because it's going to bounce around or be distracted from different situations. So I don't look at it as this camera isn't as good as a D5 when it comes to autofocus, though Nikon does say that it has the same autofocus system. You also have to look at the type of processors that each of these cameras has, and maybe it's not capable of processing as fast as the D5 is when it comes to continuous autofocus in those situations. But what I can say is in the real world situations that I'm in right here, I seem to have been able to do a good job with the D850 getting things in focus. So I think we went through these already, right? No, this is just another, I wanted to show you 3 of these in a row to prove that it wasn't just a fluke one time, that it went through 3 times and nailed it. And I'll keep moving. Again, 1 to 1, each one of these is a 100 megabyte RAW file. Don't forget about that. That one looks to be soft. That one's nailed, and that one looks to be slightly soft in the eyes right there. Again, shooting through a helmet, but it's not in. Is it in anywhere else? I don't think I found it here. I just think this one just missed slightly. So I want to show you this one, because this is one where the subject was out of the frame, right? And then I started to acquire focus. So it wasn't like I was tracking them all the way. So it looks like the first 3, first 2.5, it looks to have missed. But then when we go through and we hit the 4th frame, I missed his head. 5th frame, good. 6th frame, good. 7, good. 8, good. 9, good. 10, 11, 12, 13, 12. So it's 12 shots. And as he turns, as he's landing, you could hit that with just about anything because it's going to be in focus at that point. So I went through again. We had him passing 1, 2, 3. That one looks to be out slightly. 4. Yeah, that one's looking a little less like it's in. So it looks like it missed these going a little bit side to side as it's trying to focus on the helmet there. As we keep going, it looks like it's fine on here. Not the best shots anyway because they're not composed properly. But then coming back towards me, going over the ramp, boom, boom. Still going, still good. So primarily, it's done a very good job in this situation. And as you can see, his face is in the shadow. I believe the sun is, where is the sun? Well, it's a really bright situation behind him. So let's keep going. I mean, look at that. So that's nailed as he got closer. But look at this. Let's just go through this full size so you can see it without the zoom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I went through 19 shots, right? 19 shots. And they all seem to be pretty right on. Again, 1-to-1. This one looks to be out just a little bit. But then the one before it and the one after it seem to be perfectly fine. Again, 1-to-1 zooming in is a pretty big area. And then just to show you a bunch of other ones from the side, this should always hit. And I believe I was on 3D tracking for these. Now this gets acquired as the subject is moving, right? So they're moving and it's acquiring it and it's nailing it time and time again as it just tracks it from side to side. Boom, Superman. Going through, same thing, and then shooting it tighter to make sure that I was able to do that. Much harder to do this, by the way, shooting at 200 millimeters, trying to keep the subject moving in frame, but most of them are actually pretty good. So there you go. So that goes through all of those different frames, and I'm going to turn back around here to talk to you about this. So you can take this real-world situation however you want to take it. It seems like from the sequences that I have here that it did a very good job time and time again using the dynamic area AF. And I know the other videos talk about comparing the 3D focus tracking. I am just not a big fan of letting the camera make the decision for me, for the most part, where I want the focus being. Now, with the dynamic area 25, I'm okay with selecting an area where I want it to be, and the camera's helping you with autofocus through those 25 points as the subject continues to move. You could see that I'm tracking a subject coming towards me through 19 images, and it looked like maybe 2 of the 19 were out. So this is just my experience with the camera. I can't speak to other people's experiences and what they were able to capture, but it seems like the D850 did a very good job with subjects coming towards me. It did a very good job in the action sequences with subjects going across the frame. And really, there's not much else to say about it. Now, I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm apologizing for the camera if it does something wrong, but this isn't designed to be an action camera, but with a grip giving you 9 frames a second, because I was using the grip, it certainly is capable of being an action camera, as these images have proven. So in my experience, in my experience, the camera did a very good job at continually autofocusing and nailing the focus time and time again, with a few in the middle every once in a while not perfectly sharp, which means they're not usable. So it's missing on occasion, but for the most part, it did a really good job. So if you haven't checked out the Nikon D850 real-world review, just hit the I button in the top corner. You can check out that full D850 review, and this is going to be a secondary review that we did in Bend, Oregon, that Steven's editing right now, that will get out into the future. So what do you guys think based off of the images on the screen right here? Do you think it did a good job, especially tracking subjects coming straight at me? And do you use 3D autofocus tracking? Again, I personally don't, but if you do, tell me what situations you use it in and how you have found it working for yourself. And the last thing before we go, if you have a lot of gear or any gear, how do you input, organize, and protect it? Well, I've created my Gear Vault, the best way to input, organize, and protect your gear. It's free. You can download it right now at mygearvault.com for iOS and Android. All I ask is that you try it out, put some gear in there, see if you like it, but it's a great way to keep organized just in case something ever happens. And that is where I'm going to leave this video. Thank you very much for watching. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. Hey there, don't forget, if you're interested in learning exactly how I capture these images or how we make these videos, then check out the full line of Froknos Photo video guides. Learn how to unlock the power of your camera and capture amazing photos with the Froknos Photo Guide to Getting Out of Auto. Learn how to finally take control of your flash with the Froknos Photo Guide to Flash Photography. And learn how to shoot and edit video with the Froknos Photo Guide to DSLR Video and Guide to Video Editing. If you want to take your creative skills to the next level, go to froknosphoto.com/guides to learn more.